Greetings and salutations. Hope you're doing fine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I prepared to share these stories with you today, I didn't know if I wanted to stand up and be energetic like I used to be 5, 10, 20 years ago, or if I would invite you to just imagine that you come to a great big house. And out back of that house, there's a smaller house, kind of like a log cabin. And in that log cabin, there lives an elderly man. And that elderly man is known to many as Uncle Remus. But in 2020, I would like for you to refer to that elderly man as Baba Akbar. Or if you like, you can go Baba Remus. So what Baba Remus or Brother Akbar would like for you to do is come with me back to an era before phone, before cell phones, before television, even before radio. And we have an opportunity to sit around a fireplace. If it's winter or fall, we will sit around a fireplace, or maybe sometimes a heater. And old Baba Akbar, aka Baba Remus, has a couple of stories he want to tell you. The first story I like to tell you is a story that I really haven't told in a long time. Man, that old thing called Silly wanted me to tell you this story today. Brother Rabbit is such a heroic, always come out on top kind of fella. I wanted to tell you about a time when Brother Rabbit didn't feel at the top of the heap. Matter of fact, all the critters were getting so close to Brother Rabbit that Brother Rabbit thought he had lost his mojo. Now, this mojo thing might be something that today we would call magic, or the thing we would call his wit, intellect, or his ability just to get away. But Brother Rabbit thought he had lost his mojo. Now, Miss Rabbit, Brother Rabbit's wife, she told him to go into the swamp and talk to Mammy, Bammy, Big Money Witch Rabbit. And Mammy, Bammy, Big Money Witch Rabbit would help him to restore or to get his mojo back. So, well, Rabbit being who he was, knowing that he was losing, feeling that he was losing his mojo and loving Miss Rabbit so much, he followed her advice. And he went deep, deep, deep in the swamp. And he went up to Mammy Bammy, Big Money, Witch Rabbit house. She let him in, and Rabbit face was all drooped and everything. She says, Rabbit, what's the matter with you, what? Rabbit said, Big Money, Mammy Bammy, I'm losing it. All the critters, they're about to catch up with me. Matter of fact, the other day, Bro Fox and Bro Wolf, they always had me. But I was just able to get away. They never come that close to get me. So I'm losing it, Mammy Bammy. I'm losing my mojo. What can I do to get it back? And Mammy Bammy, Big Money, Witch Rabbit thought for a minute. Rabbit, go out yonder and bring me a squirrel. The rabbit said, okay. The rabbit didn't know how in the world he was going to catch a squirrel, but he thought about it, and he went and got him a crocus sack. He picked him up a couple of rocks, and he went where he saw some tree squirrels jumping from limb to limb up in the tree. And he sat down underneath that tree, and he got inside of that crocus sack and started hitting those pebbles together. Squirrel heard it and come slowly down the tree, got right above Brother Rabbit's head. Brother Rabbit kept on hitting those hickory nuts. The squirrel got close and said, what you doing in there? Brother Rabbit said, oh, I'm just cracking some hickory nuts. The squirrel said, can I come in there and crack some too? Rabbit said, sure you can. So that squirrel came all the way down to the ground and crawled up into that sack with Brother Rabbit. And as soon as the squirrel went in the sack, Brother Rabbit came out closed it up, and took that sack to Mammy Bammy, Big Money Witch Rabbit. He said, here go the squirrel, Mammy Bammy. He said, thank you, Rabbit. Now go get me a rattlesnake. Rabbit said, what? Go get me a rattlesnake. Why? You want your mojo? So Rabbit went out. Now Rabbit, like all the other critters and you and me both, were scared of rattlesnakes, but if he's gonna get his mojo back, he knew he had to get that rattlesnake. And so he went and got him a rope and put a slip knot, a slip loop in that rope. And so he went when he heard the rattle, he heard the rattlesnake. And so Rabbit went close and started talking to the rattlesnake. He said, the rattlesnake, lion, said, you're not very long. Can I measure to see how long you is? Rattlesnake said, sure, Rabbit. And so the rattlesnake started uncoiling and stretching himself out. He said, Rattlesnake, will you stretch out all the way so I can get a good measurement? And when that rattlesnake stretched out all the way, Rabbit slipped that loop over his head and pulled it tight, put it in a sack, and took it to Mammy Bammy, Big Money Witch Rabbit. He said, Mammy Bammy, here go your rattlesnake. She put the rattlesnake off to the side and said, now, Rabbit, go get me an elephant tusk. What? Go get me an elephant tusk. Now, this story kind of takes place in the South, and I don't know what time in the South there were elephants, other than at places we call zoos. But in this story, there's an elephant. So Rabbit goes and looks for elephant. And he come across old two-tusked elephant. And true to Bro Rabbit's nature, he go up to old elephant and say, Elephant, bro lion, say you not very strong. Can you show me how strong you is? And elephant said, you know I can. Watch this. So that elephant looked around, the biggest tree he saw. He ran into that tree and boom! Nothing happened. He ran into the tree again. Boom! Nothing happened. He ran in that tree again. Boom! And you know what happened? One of the elephant tusks fell right out of his head. Well, the elephant kind of ran away in pain. Rabbit, he picked up that tusk, threw it over his shoulder, and took it to Mammy Big Money Witch Rabbit. And he said, Mammy, Mammy, here go the elephant tusk. Now, can I get my mojo? She said, Rabbit, you don't need no mojo. You got more mojo than any other critter I know. And if you had any more, you'd be the one nation over the whole doggone forest. So get out of here. Well, Rabbit left Mammy Big Money Witch Rabbit with a great big smile on his face. He thought he lost his mojo, but old Rabbit, he never lost his mojo. And that mojo has been working ever since way back yonder, all the way to today, right now, as I tell you this story. Thank you. I'm going to close the door on that one, and then I have to reach around and find an old book I want to share with you. This is a story that Baba Akbar found in a Goodwill store for about 20, maybe 40 cents. But boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know, this is one of the most, I would say, thought-provoking, uplifting, inspiring stories I've ever read and had the opportunity to tell. It's a story called At the End of the Rainbow. I wish I'm sitting here by this virtual fireplace, but I kind of wish we were in a gathering together. And I would ask each and every one of you, what do you think is at the end of the rainbow? Matter of fact, let's just take about 10 seconds or so. And I want you to think, what do you think is at the end of the rainbow? Now I'm going to be counting kind of silently for like the count of 10, but think about what's the end or what's at the end of the rainbow. Now, I said I was going to give you about 10 seconds, but I'm going to cut it off at 5 seconds because I know this doggone internet time is kind of big, even when you only take a little bit of it. But this is a story, like I said, at the end of the rainbow. And the story is about what happens between two friends, a fox and a badger. Now, when I picked up this story and started reading it, I really didn't know what a badger was. I'd heard of that football team called the Wisconsin Badgers. I've even heard of a football player called the Honey Badger, but I did not know what a badger was. So I looked it up, and turns out that the badger is actually, I thought it was related to the weasels, but it's more related to the wolverines. But this is not a science biology lesson. I just want to tell you a story about something happened between a fox and a badger. One day, after a short rain, a beautiful rainbow spread out across the horizon. Fox and badger looked at that beautiful rainbow and said, I wonder what's at the end of the rainbow. And badger said, I think there's a treasure. Fox said, what's the treasure? Oh, you know, something like gold or silver or diamonds or maybe a whole lot of money. Let's go find it. So badger and fox headed out to go to find the treasure at the end of the rainbow. Now, while they was going through the woods, they came across a squirrel. And the squirrel was piling up acorns. And you know what he was saying? My treasure, my treasure, my treasure, my treasure, my treasure. The fox said, that's a treasure? Squirrel said, yes. Badger said, that's no treasure. That's not gold or silver or diamonds. That ain't no treasure. Squirrel said, this is my treasure. This is my food for the whole winter. And it makes me happy. And they, okay, we're gonna go find the real treasure. So they left Squirrel there singing and celebrating his acorn. And they ran past the river. When they ran past that river, a duck was upset. The duck was saying, where's my treasure? Treasure! Where's my treasure? And fox and badger looked at duck and said, you looking for treasure? She said, yes, my treasure. He walked away and I don't know where he is. And she looked up and she saw her little duckling coming. She said, there's my treasure. Where you been? And the little duckling ran over to her, got right up under the duck's wing. And she said to fox and badger, this is my treasure. Isn't he beautiful? Fox said, that ain't no treasure. That's just your little child. He said, it's my treasure, and I love him a lot. That's your treasure. We got to go find a real treasure. And so they continued on and went around the river, and they went up a hill. And at the top of that hill, they came across an elderly rabbit. The elderly rabbit said, where you fellas going? They said, we're going to find our treasure. The elderly rabbit said, I got my treasure right here. He said, your treasure? How can you have a treasure up there? He said, that's where my memories are. What's a memory? Memory are those things that you've done, the people that you met, those things that make you happy. He said, hey, that's your treasure. We got to go find a real treasure. And so they left the elderly rabbit and continued on. But as they went towards the end of the rainbow, to find the end of the rainbow, a dark cloud came up and it started to rain. And it rained and it rained. After a while, the rainbow disappeared. And Fox and Badger looked up, looked at each other and said, we can't find our treasure now. But everybody we passed, they always had their treasure. The squirrel had something that made him happy. The duck may find something that she loved. And the old rabbit, he found something that was important and made him happy too. And then Fox and Badger looked at each other and said, about the same time, you make me happy. I love you. You're important to me. You're my treasure. They said to each other, and they looked at each other and smiled and started dancing and dancing all around because they realized they didn't have to go to the end of the rainbow to find their treasure. That treasure was in their life all the time. And so the rain stopped, but Fox and Badger headed back towards home as happy as they could be because they had found their treasure and it wasn't at the end of the rainbow. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for sharing this little time with me. And I want to invite you back again to come and maybe we'll sit around the fireplace or the heater. And if it's warm enough and this old thing that's kind of going around the world is gone away, if that thing is gone away and we can get kind of close to each other like folks normally do, I got some more stories I want to tell you. But I'm going to end now with my story chat. I'm going to say it, and I'd like you to repeat after me. Stories come and stories go. Listen to the words and help them grow. It matters not if the stories are true, only what they mean to you. Cause stories come and stories go. Listen to the words and help them grow. It matters not what they mean to me, only what your hearts can see. Stories come and stories flow. Listen to the words and away we go. I thank you for listening, and I look forward to the next time. Have yourself a great day and a great life. From old Baba Akbar, I bid you farewell.